Hi everyone, welcome to Writer's Corner. I'm Radrani and I'm from Tilsey Creative Writers. And once again, I'll be reading another chapter from this book. Lessons from the Ramayana by Sri Chao Sachinamurti. And in today's video, I'll be reading Lesson 6 and I hope you like it. So, here we go. Lesson 6. Learn to practice the 5 human values. Much of the evil that stares us in the face in our present-day society is traceable to our scant respect for the 5 human values. Man, engrossed in his pursuit for wealth, power and pleasures, rides roughshod over the principles, morals and scruples that may stand in his way. But in a society where such men abound, progress and happiness become extinct. Parents put their children in schools and colleges in order to make them learn how to win their bread. They know of education only as breadwinning, but not as ennobling. True education raises one from base inhumane level to noble human stature. Such healthy education consists in the practice of 5 human values: truth, satyam; righteousness, dharma; love, equanimity or peace, shanti; and non-injury, ahimsa. The Ramayana provides us excellent lessons in the practice of these 5 human values. Truth. Veracity is the heart of morality, goes the proverb. Truthfulness is at the bottom of all virtues. A man who makes a vow to be truthful cannot commit a crime. Every culprit banks on his power of lying to escape punishment. The evildoers try to keep the truth buried, but they are sure to be exposed and caught sooner or later. Truth may be eclipsed but never extinguished. With the passage of time, the truth covered by a clever culprit comes out to arrest the ravages of cunning lie. Truth can be understood in 2 ways. 1, in the sense of not uttering a lie and deceiving people by falsehood. The second is in a spiritual sense, equating truth to God. When all the worlds, all the living creatures in these worlds, and everything else that is seen in all these worlds are destroyed, something remains resplendent. That is Sat. Sat means that which remains forever. That Sat is God. Hence we say truth is God. In the Ramayana, both the aspects of truth are well explained and well illustrated. King Dasratha is truthful. He keeps his word even at the cost of his life. Rama helps his father keep his promise by going to the forest, renouncing riches and royal splendor. To both of them, truth is of utmost value. Every virtue springs from truth. People believe a man of truth and feel safe and secure under his rule. As the king, so are the subjects. So under Ramaraja, there is no scope for falsehood to raise its ugly head. The vices and crimes based on falsehood can no more flourish and foul the atmosphere under Ramaraja. The second aspect of truth is brought home to us by the very fact that Rama is God incarnate. It is evident that truth is God. If a man keeps to truth and never bases his gains on falsehood, his riches may be modest, but he can be happy and contented. The satisfaction that he has not deceived anybody is itself a great fortune. Ill-gotten wealth based on deceit and falsehood will be a source of agony and torture in due course. These obvious truisms may not be stale for repetition as long as the young in schools and colleges show interest in original and creative thinking. As a learned professor finely puts it, an awareness of intellectual basis for moral behavior is at least as important as the vision of peaks of excellence in the field of human character. If the young think deeply on certain morals or human values, they for themselves understand how happy are those who prefer a loss to dishonest gain. If thinking is not clouded by greed, our young will not be lured to fraud. Now there are two things to be done. One is to present before the young the illustrious examples for truthfulness like Rama, Harishchandra, Gandhiji and so on, and inspire them into practicing that virtue. The second is to inculcate in them the power of clear scientific thinking, which makes them see that what is morally right is also scientifically correct. If an ordinary man on the street is not truthful, the damage is limited to him alone. He will soon be exposed and taken to task. He alone suffers the loss of his lapse. But if a man in power who is at the helm is not truthful, his examples percolates to the officers below, and the damage will be heavy and widespread. The greater the man, the more will be his capacity to hide his faults. It takes a longer time to clear his cover-up and expose him. Hence, those that are destined to occupy elevated positions of power must be given training in the practice of virtues and cultivation of human values. Dharma. Dharma we stick to with faith and fervour is eternal and unchanging. A man born on this earth has for his object the realization of God. Eternal Dharma consists in faithfully working one's way to liberation from the vicious cycle of births and deaths, and in thus finally reaching God. In every act he does, a man has to make sure that he pleases God by doing that. It is within our common experience that whenever we start any good act or worship, the mantra, the spell of holy words, goes that we do it only to please God. In short, dharma is that which we do with the avowed purpose of pleasing God. The unseen God presents himself before us in the form of parents, who have been at pains to bring us up with loving care. A man's first duty is therefore to his parents. A man in his old age craves for succour, support, and more than anything else, courtesy and kind word. An affluent man may keep his parents in a separate house and provide all comforts. Yet he will be failing in his duty if he does not give the old couple what they crave most: warmth of love and personal attendance. The old man wishes to gratify himself with the thought that his son, the flesh of his flesh, the bone of his bone, is all attention for him, with a heart filled with filial love. God will be pleased with those who serve their parents, and hence it is a dharma which we have to perform. The example of Rama ought to inspire the young with devotion to parents. The second visible God on earth is Guru, a worthy teacher. It is the Guru who rids a man of his identification with the body and helps him realize God. Guru dispels darkness in the mind and makes it possible for the dawn of wisdom. Sri Rama's devotion to Vashishta, Visvamitra and a host of other sages illustrates the point. Rama prostrates himself before the great Gurus and worships them on par with God. He kneads Vishvamitra's feet in all reverence and humbly learns from him several skills and wisdom. A man is indebted to great sages or rishis like Valmiki, Vyasa and so on, who have made available for mankind a vast storehouse of wisdom through their writings. The only way in which we can show our gratitude to them is to read those books and be benefited. The third aspect of eternal dharma is to read those holy books. The study of holy books transforms a man, and he will be like one born again. Rama, his brothers, King Dasaratha, Janaka, Hanuman, and many others in the Ramayana are well versed in the sacred law, and they have fully performed the dharma by acquainting themselves with the wisdom conveyed to us by the rishis. The fourth aspect of the eternal dharma is to honor a guest. An honored guest is equal to God in the eyes of the host. In our country, every householder performs this dharma of entertaining guests. If anyone seeks food, the householder never refuses. He would rather deny himself food when it is scarce than refuse to feed a guest. Sita considers it a sacred duty to give alms to anyone who appeals to charity. In fulfillment of this duty, she ventures to go out of the line drawn by Lakshmana. In ancient India, kings and affluent persons used to perform yagas or yajnas to propitiate the gods. They were a token of thanks to the gods for timely rains and protection against natural calamities like earthquakes, eruption of volcanoes, floods, and fire. The principle behind those religious performances on large scale was to feed the poor and reward the scholars. Their charity and generosity displayed during those elaborate functions would please the gods presiding over the destiny of mortals. Dasratha, Janaka, Rama and many others performed such yagas and won fame for their generosity and charitable gifts. Thus the fifth aspect of eternal dharma is to feed the poor, annadanam, and on occasions of pujas and vratas which we commonly perform. Dharma is used often in the sense of duty. We know that duty is God to those who perform it with devotion. A soldier fights on the battlefield and he is prepared to die in doing his duty. There is life alone in duty well done. A sincere officer does his duty well. No wealth can corrupt him. No power can browbeat him into doing undue favours. Our country badly needs duty-minded officers, ministers and administrators. Those who shirk duty and misuse power inflict on society great injury. In the Ramayana, we see how Hanuman does devoted service to Rama. Sugriva does his duty as a true friend. Rama does his duty well as a ruler. All these examples inspire the young to develop duty-mindedness. The government sets rules for the smooth and efficient rule. It is righteous conduct to obey those rules and thus contribute to orderliness and general good. These rules may be changed from time to time, and so what was righteous conduct under previous rules may be bad conduct under revised rules. So here, dharma changes as determined by free thinking of the legislators. Similarly, in society there are certain customs and conventions. To obey them is righteous conduct. But these customs and conventions, however good, with the passage of time may gather dirt and dust. So they need to be cleansed of dross so that they may shine in fresh lustre. In this process, free thinking plays a dynamic role. For example, child marriage was once righteous conduct. Thus, dharma based on rules of government and customs in society is dynamic. Faith and fervour back eternal dharma as decided by free thinking or power of reason. In fact, eternal dharma and dynamic dharma are not contradictory but complementary. Whenever dharma shows signs of decay, God descends on earth and restores dharma by his example and precept. Lord Rama is an embodiment of dharma. The study of the Ramayana shows us how to keep the path of dharma. Peace, equanimity. When evil runs riot in the heart, peace never comes to the mind. Desires divert a man from what is right to what is expedient. Thinking gets perverted and invents specious arguments to justify the claims of greed and exploits of anger. Fortunate is he whom fortune does not sway and power does not intoxicate. He who can keep cool even in the midst of provocation and temptation can enjoy peace. Sri Rama is not elated at the prospect of coronation, nor is he dejected at the sentence of exile. The same sweet smile hovers on his lips, and the same sweet calm abides in his heart. Such poise and such equanimity are possible only for Rama, who is above desires and distractions. He who has Rama's sweet name on his lips and Rama's beautiful image in his heart will enjoy peace and poise. Non-injury. Great and glorious are they who stick to the principle of non-injury or non-violence. In these days of criminalization of politics, Gandhiji's example of non-violence shines a beacon of light. Gandhiji once said, "To attempt to solve problems by violence is to admit of intellectual and moral bankruptcy. To eschew violence, one must be able to make use of powers of intellect and develop in him moral force. Without morality, there can be no durable amity." The basis of morality is the belief that in every man there is a spark of goodness or godliness, and this spark has got to be fanned into a flame. A man who has to practice non-violence in life has to bear in mind the following facts. He must first conquer his weaknesses and develop the ability to remain unruffled. He must not exploit the weakness in a person with whom he deals. He should not touch the ego to the quick. He should scrupulously avoid in himself everything he wishes to reprove in others. He should leave no scope to be charged with inconsistency. If the other man is sure of our morality and piety, he would heed our proposals for amity. Morality, said Jesus, is kindness to the weak. An immoral fellow fattens himself on the ignorance and weakness of others. Such an immoral wretch cannot practice non-violence. The persons cheated by him are angry with him and look for an opportunity to wreak vengeance on him. So a leader who wishes to improve society by non-violent methods must plant pity in the exploiter and spirit of self-effort in the exploited. Great are those who season politics with moral values and lead the country on non-violent methods. In the Ramayana, we come across a good number of holy sages and ascetics who successfully practice non-violence. In their ashramas, even wild animals become tame. Such is a force of their spirit of non-violence. Even the worst enemy will get transformed if good is done to him contrary to his expectation. If thine enemy hunger, feed him. If thine enemy thirst, give him drink, for in doing so you put heaps of coal on his head. Every human being is capable of being transformed into a moral being. There is a little spark of goodness in every man. If that spark is ignited by a magnetic touch, a touch of Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, a touch of Buddha, or a touch of Mahatma Gandhi, he will be transformed into a perfect moral being. Wisdom has taught us to be calm and meek, to take one blow and turn the other cheek. It is not written what a man shall do. If the rude caitiff smite the other two. By O.W. Holmes. If the worst enemy who deserves to be killed happens to be caught in our grip, and if it is within our power to be avenged by killing him, we are advised by the wise to leave him and do him good. The hope is that he would repent and turn to be a good man. The question is, what have we to do if such a change does not result from such a good gesture? A man who will not be moved even when good is returned to his evil lacks the spark of humanity in him. Such persons are demons or rakshasas in human form. It is said that a human being can become a moral being by the golden touch of a sage. Rama is full of benevolence and he abounds in mercy. Yet he has taken up his bow and arrows to make short work of the demons or rakshasas. The monsters are not humane, and there is no spark of humanity in them to be ignited by a sage. So a superhuman hero with superhuman powers has to come to kill them and save mankind from their menace. Rama establishes righteousness by destroying the wicked demons who are not human and who are strangers to the stirrings of human values. Kumbhakarna and Maricha recognize the greatness and virtue of Rama, but they are demonic by disposition. Their rakshasic nature does not make them relent and surrender themselves to Rama. But Vibhishana is different. Though he is a rakshasa by birth, he has in him human values which make him a perfect moral being. In this context, an episode from Mahabharata may be recalled. Duryodhana, with his entourage, went to the forest where the Pandavas were leading a simple ascetic life, having been deprived of their kingdom and splendor. His object was to display wealth insultingly and make the Pandavas look small before him. He hoped to enjoy seeing the Pandavas smarting under shame and disgrace. There, unexpectedly, a Gandharva king captured Duryodhana, having overpowered his big army. Duryodhana was in a shameful state in the clutches of the Gandharva. Dharmaraja pitied his cousin Duryodhana and asked Bhima and Arjuna to go and rescue the Kaurava monarch, who had been the sole cause of their exile in the forest and consequent misery and privation. Bhima and Arjuna first expressed their unwillingness to help their deadliest foe, whom they were wont to kill. But Dharmaraja's will prevailed, and the two heroes defeated the Gandharva and rescued Duryodhana. Duryodhana, thus rescued, was brought before Dharmaraja. Had Duryodhana been a human being, he would have regretted the wrongs done by him and made friends with the Pandavas. The goodness of Dharmaraja would have melted any man but the unfeeling and stone-hearted Rakshasa in Duryodhana. Only a Rakshasa would not be touched by such an unusual gesture of goodness and humanity. In Duryodhana, Rakshasa was foremost. He was simply a Rakshasa in human form. Hence, Lord Sri Krishna helped the Pandavas kill Duryodhana and all his evil mentors. He made dharma triumph over adharma. Thus, non-violence is a good principle as long as it is confined to human beings having a spark of goodness. But in the case of non-human or demonic, our refuge is a superhuman hero like Rama or Krishna, in the form of whom God may descend upon the earth from time to time to restore dharma. Love. The poets are all those who feel great truths and tell them, and the truth of all truths is love. Love inspires a great poet, and he writes things which are for the good of mankind. The inspired writings of a poet touch the heart of a man and make him alive to the human values. A man worth the name feels pain instinctively for another's misery. He also instinctively takes pleasure in another's joy. This feeling for others is like an invisible force. This invisible force of human sympathy binds all humanity together. It is comparable to force of gravitation, which binds all matter together into one whole in this ordered universe. Even animals can recognize love and hate. Birds and beasts go near a man who loves them. Human beings pray to God and crave for His mercy as they are attracted by God's love. God loves mankind, and His only one activity is to rush to the rescue of the devotee who ardently prays to Him. The elephant Gajendra is a classic example to show how love for the devotee moves God. When God is an embodiment of love, and when His other name is love, it goes without saying that the greater is the love for humanity in a man, the nearer is he to God. Dasharatha loves Rama to distraction. One may say that he dotes on his son. It is not mere doting. It is supreme love that can brook no separation from Rama. The reason for such love is Rama himself. Rama is full of love. That love for mankind in him is transparent. Just as magnet attracts iron, Rama, by dint of his love, attracts all human beings. When he is going in the chariot, all the citizens rush to the chariot. They beg Rama to take them to the forest along with him. They proclaim that where Rama is, there Ayodhya is. Ayodhya without Rama is a desert. It was a Herculean task for Rama to tear himself off from the crowds of devotees and admirers. God has descended upon earth not so much for the destruction of the wicked Rakshasas as to bless His devotees by His personal contact with them in the form of a fellow human being. The bliss, the thrill, and the rapture they feel in the presence of Rama, who visits them, talks sweetly to them, and smiles to them, are beyond words. If His purpose is only to destroy the wicked, He need not descend to earth. He can destroy them even from the high heavens. To realize God and to win His grace, one need not be wise, rich, high-born, and so on. The only qualification to win His grace is devotion. That devotion is based on love. The more one loves God, the more will be the grace that descends on him. God in His love is ever on the lookout for the call of a devotee. The following lines of Young are worth remembering in the practice of our devotion prompted by love. Who worship God shall find Him, humble love, and not proud reason keeps the door of heaven. Love finds admission where proud science fails. These 5 human values cannot be divorced from one another. None of them works in isolation. All 5 together brighten our path. They supplement and complement one another. The young in our schools and colleges must be made to be aware of these human values. Education ceases to be education if it does not include training in these human values. Education without these human values may produce doctors, engineers, and administrators. But it will be doubtful how far these doctors, engineers, and administrators will serve our society. An efficient doctor without human values may be a great earner, but not a curer. An efficient engineer without human values may be a great architect to the rich, but not a builder to the common man. An efficient administrator without human values may be a rapid climber, but not a valued custodian of taxpayers' money. Without human values, power, strength, and skill barbarize a man. Wisdom is knowing what to do next. Skill is knowing how to do it, and virtue is doing it. Human values imbibed by the young during study in schools and colleges make for that much needed virtue, which is doing a good thing. Education provides wisdom and skill. Wisdom and skill are useless without virtue. As Keats finely puts it, there is inhuman dearth of noble nature. That dearth or shortage can be supplied or replenished by education oriented by human values. What is wrong with our present type of education? We teach the young science. When he is well versed in it, The mammon in him makes him sell his knowledge to the warlords. Teach him politics. The monkey in him makes him turn order into chaos. Teach him religion. The devil in him makes him a bigot. So the remedy is to train him in the 5 human values to drive out the mammon, the monkey, and the devil from his heart. To sum up this lesson on human values, we can quote the graceful words of Bhagavan Sri Sat Sai Baba. Love as thought is truth. Love as action is right conduct. Love as understanding is peace. Love as feeling is non-violence. The end. That was end of lesson 6. Thanks for watching. Please click like, share and subscribe, and I hope to see you in my next video when I'll be reading lesson 7. Thank you. Bye.